Can true greatness ever be completely hidden, even when you strip away all the proof, all the documents, and someone's pushed down to the lowest possible status?
It's a powerful question.
Yeah, and today we're talking about a legendary horse. I mean, his actual DNA shaped the entire modern thoroughbred breed, yet his noble heritage was literally destroyed by, well, a petty official.
And the story of the mute boy who just refused to let that horse's destiny be denied, it's quite something.
It really is. Now, discover a new in-depth approach to book coverage with this expected summary. Unlike our previous review, which offers a focused analysis, this feature delivers a comprehensive overview tracing the intellectual roots, key arguments, and real-world impact of this subject.
Exactly. And if you appreciate this expanded format, this deeper look, and find it helpful, please let us know. Your feedback will absolutely help shape future content.
So the book we're diving into is Marguerite Henry's King of the Wind. The story of the Godolphin Arabian, published back in 1948, won the Newbery Medal. It's historical fiction, but it gets right into the founding of the thoroughbred line.
A truly foundational story.
Okay, let's unpack this then.
Yeah.
Our mission here is to trace the, frankly, extraordinary journey of this horse, Sham, and his caretaker, Agba. We need to really look at how their bond held up against these huge social geographical changes in the 18th century, moving them from, Moroccan nobility all the way across Europe to these harsh English marshes. It's quite a ride.
It is. And just so you know, you are experiencing a unique two-host AI conversation powered by Google's NotebookLM for deeper, more dynamic book summaries.
Right.
We're aiming to synthesize that core journey, pull out the key historical context, the demands of the era, and really analyze the intellectual weight behind this story.
So where does it all begin?
We start in North Africa, Morocco specifically, around 1724, and this setting is crucial. In the royal stables of the Sultan, the Arabian horse wasn't just, an animal or property.
No, it was much more.
It was revere, a cultural centerpiece. It held immense social, almost spiritual significance. The whole culture was geared towards the purity, the development of these bloodlines.
And that's where our protagonist, Sham, is born. He's this magnificent bay Arabian stallion. But right from the start, his birth is marked by, well, high expectations, but also warning signs.
Those markings.
Yeah, these distinctive white markings, a white chest and a white heel. Tradition said this prophesied both greatness and serious trials ahead, and he's immediately paired with Agba.
Agba, the mute Moroccan stable boy.
Exactly.
And Agba's role is just critical. The book presents him as a slave, yes, but his entire identity is wrapped up in this incredible, almost psychic connection he has with horses.
Since he can't speak.
Right. He communicates through action, through loyalty. This makes him incredibly vulnerable out in the world, really dependent on his bond with Sham, and Sham depends on him too. It's very reciprocal.
And that vulnerability gets tested almost immediately. The Sultan decides to send both Sham and Agba as a formal diplomatic gift.
To the King of France, Louis XV.
Yeah. This wasn't just selling a horse. It was a big political statement, a public gesture. And that single act pulls them straight out of their protected, revered world in Morocco.
And throws them right into the political chaos, the different values of 18th century Europe.
The cultural shift must have been jarring.
Oh, absolutely. What's truly fascinating is that contrast. In Morocco, Sham was the pinnacle, treated like royalty. But they get to the opulent French royal court, and the attitudes towards horses, and frankly towards this Moroccan gift, are just different.
How so?
Well, the French court valued size, spectacle, lineage they controlled, not necessarily the Arabian principles of speed, stamina, endurance. That fundamental lack of respect, of understanding, it really sets the stage for disaster.
And disaster doesn't wait long, does it?
No, it arrives pretty swiftly. The sea voyage itself was horrendous, but their time at the French court, utterly catastrophic.
We meet the first real antagonist here.
Yes, Cook. A jealous, small-minded palace worker. Seems driven by resentment, maybe of the exotic gifts, maybe of Agba himself. He schemes against the boy.
And eventually manages to sell Sham. Sells this valuable Arabian colt right out from under the French court's nose.
Leading to that first major, devastating separation between Agba and Sham.
The horse's descent is just brutal after that.
It really is. Sham, who's never known disrespect or harsh captivity, struggles. He goes from being this diplomatic centerpiece to, well, basically a common work animal.
Sold to an abusive carter.
Right. And you have to picture 18th century conditions for cart horses. Grueling work, huge loads, often whipped, poorly fed. For an Arabian, bred for speed and spirit, this heavy, crude labor, it's the ultimate degradation, physically and symbolically.
That theme of worth just completely unrecognized.
Exactly, manifesting as outright cruelty.
And meanwhile, Agba is just frantic.
Completely desperate. His search for Sham becomes the core emotional drive of the narrative. He uses every bit of instinct, every resource he has. He endures hunger, cold, constant vulnerability, just to find and stay near the horse who's basically his only family.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But then a glimmer of hope.
Yes. Here's where we see the first flicker of, let's say, genuine European kindness. They get a break. Jethro Koch, a kind Quaker from England, sees Sham being abused by the carter.
And buys him.
Buys him. And importantly, he brings both the horse and the boy across the English Channel. He provides a period of recovery, puts them under the care of his efficient housekeeper, Mistress Cockburn. It's a crucial, if temporary, safe haven.
But temporary is the key word there.
Unfortunately, yes. This rescue highlights just how precarious their freedom is. That brief peace ends abruptly. Sham, still spirited, still resistant to unfamiliar riders.
Throws Koch's son-in-law.
He does, and that's a serious breach. It forces their immediate departure from that safe place. They're constantly just one misstep away from ruin.
Okay, let's pause there for a moment. If you are enjoying this comprehensive summary, this deep look into the historical context and the journey, remember that Mindful Moments, our YouTube channel, offers AI book analysis, summaries, and critiques.
Inspiring reflection and rational thought on a whole range of fascinating subjects. Check it out.
So after leaving the Quaker's home, where do they end up?
Their trials just escalate. They reach London. Mr. Koch manages to find work for Sham at the Red Lion Inn, a bustling, chaotic place.
But the real crisis, the deepest one, comes from inside the inn, doesn't it?
Yes, from Mistress Williams, the innkeeper's wife. For some reason, she develops this inexplicable hysteria, this fear, centered on Agba.
And that fear turns malicious.
Utterly. When Agba tries to make a secret visit to Sham, probably just to check on him, maybe bring him something, Mistress Williams falsely accuses him of horse theft.
A capital crime in 18th century England.
Precisely. And it's the ultimate example of Agba's muteness making him an easy target. He can't verbally defend himself against these baseless accusations.
Where does that lead?
It leads him to the absolutely horrific conditions of Newgate Prison.
And this prison stay. It's more than just imprisonment, isn't it? It's symbolically huge.
It's arguably the most critical turning point, symbolically. It represents the total systemic destruction of Sham's proof of worth, the prison warder, this figure of petty bureaucratic power.
Destroys the pedigree papers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He destroys Sham's noble pedigree papers, the actual written documentation of his Arabian lineage. And at the same time, the warder steals Agba's protective amulets.
Representing
The loss of his Moroccan heritage, his spiritual protection, his very identity. It's a complete stripping away.
Wow. It's chilling when you think about what destroying those papers means. In 18th century England, obsessed with documented lineage, property rights, destroying a pedigree basically eliminates the legal basis for his noble status.
Completely. How do you prove you're the foundation of a new breed when the official documents are just gone? Ashes.
That really is the core intellectual challenge of the book, isn't it?
And that's precisely it. It pits this inherent proven greatness against society's need for documentation. If his excellence can't be proven on paper, it must be asserted through performance. But how? He's stuck. Agba's in prison.
It seems hopeless. But then, a stroke of luck? Or maybe destiny.
Perhaps destiny. Providence intervenes right at their lowest point. Mistress Cockburn, the kind housekeeper from before.
She reappeared.
Yes. She encounters the philanthropic Dowager Duchess of Marlborough, an aristocrat who visits prisoners. A seemingly chance meeting.
But crucial.
Absolutely. It brings Agba and Sham's terrible situation, the injustice, the destroyed papers to the attention of the incredibly powerful Earl of Godolphin.
And that connection changes everything.
Everything. These noble benefactors rescue Agba from prison and rescue the horse, Sham, who's now physically and mentally just broken. They bring them both to the prestigious Gog-Magog stables in Cambridgeshire.
That's a massive shift. From the depths of Newgate to the absolute pinnacle of English horse-breeding aristocracy.
Monumental.
But even there, at the top, the fight for recognition isn't over, is it?
Not at all. They encounter Titus Twickenham, the head groom at Gog-Magog. He represents that conventional, established thinking.
And he's skeptical.
Immediately dismisses Sham. Too small, too foreign. Not suitable for English racing or breeding stock in his eyes. His skepticism is rooted in that belief that only the large, established, well-documented English lines have value.
He has his own champion horse, right?
Yeah. He does. Hobgoblin. The Earl's current prized stallion. Hobgoblin is big, imposing, gets the royal treatment. He's the embodiment of that preferred English breeding philosophy.
Which sets up the inevitable confrontation.
Exactly. The moment that will decide Sham's true destiny.
And that moment arrives with a mare.
Yes, Lady Roxana. A beautiful white mare arrives, intended for breeding with the celebrated Hobgoblin.
And Agba just can't stand it.
He can't. After everything he's endured, the hardship, separation, prison, all to protect Sham, he cannot bear watching his magnificent horse ignored, relegated to menial tasks, while this, in his view, inferior horse is prepared for greatness.
So what does he do?
Driven by that fierce devotion, he quietly releases Sham from his stall.
Knowing what will happen.
Oh, certainly. It triggers the dramatic climax, the fierce, defining battle between the two stallions.
Hobgoblin versus Sham.
Right. Hobgoblin relies on size and weight, the English standard. But Sham uses the speed, the agility, the sheer spirit inherent in his Arabian bloodline.
And Sham wins.
Sham emerges victorious. He proves his natural inherent worth, his superiority, in a way that completely transcends pedigree papers or human judgment. Action speaks louder than documents.
But the Earl, he doesn't see it that way immediately.
No, the immediate consequence isn't celebration. The Earl of Godolphin is furious, insulted, enraged that his prized hobgoblin was beaten by this foreign reject.
The punishment.
The Earl banishes both Agba and Sham to the isolated, desolate swampland of Wicken Fen.
Exile. For how long?
Nearly 2 years. They endure this harsh exile in the marshes.
That seems like the final crushing blow.
It feels like it, but it represents the final grueling test. It's a period of quiet endurance, faith, patience. The irony is just immense. Sham has proven his superiority through raw action, yet he's punished for it.
But eventually.
Eventually, the success of that unplanned mating with Lady Roxana becomes undeniable. The offspring shows Sham's quality. It proves beyond any doubt that the speed, the stamina, the unique quality of the Arabian horse, now known as the Godolphin Arabian, was indispensable.
And that finally launches his legacy.
Officially launches his legacy as one of the 3 foundation sires of the thoroughbred breed.
So wrapping this up, what are the big takeaways here?
Well, the core themes are incredibly powerful, aren't they? That unbreakable bond of loyalty between a human and an animal.
Definitely.
The sheer difficulty of proving your worth when every piece of evidence, every document is destroyed by arbitrary power or prejudice. And ultimately, that sense of destiny fulfilled, despite just immense adversity, despite society initially failing to see true greatness.
And when we say foundation stallion, we need to grasp the scale of that.
You really do. We mean that virtually every modern thoroughbred racehorse traces its lineage back to this one horse, Sham. This isn't just a touching story. It's the origin story of a massive global industry.
It makes you think about those destroyed papers in Newgate again. Consider that symbolic weight. In a society like 18th century England, so obsessed with documented lineage, how much power does a fragile piece of paper really hold compared to inherent, proven talent that just asserts itself, regardless of status or prison walls?
It's a question that resonates far beyond horse racing, doesn't it? In any field. What matters more, the credentials or the actual ability?
A very provocative thought to leave our listeners with.
And of course, the book itself had a huge impact. Winning the Newbery Medal in 1949 really cemented Marguerite Henry's reputation and ensured this incredible story of resilience continues to inspire readers.
Click the link on screen to subscribe, share, purchase via link, and think rationally.
See the many genre-based book podcasts at Mindful Moments. Subscribe and nourish your mind on the go.